Welcome to Comic Instruction. For this next Foundations entry, I'm talking the 1994 series Starman from DC Comics. But first, let's set the stage. It was the late 80s, and I thought I might be done with comics as an art form. At Marvel, many stories felt like endings for their characters. I'm specifically talking Spider-Man, Kraven's Last Hunt, Daredevil, Born Again, and Fall of the Mutants. I read some DC in the 80s, specifically Suicide Squad, Justice League International, and the Batman books drawn by Norm Breyfogle. But by 91, I was only collecting Sandman and the odd manga title, and understand manga was a tiny genre at that point in the States. My friend Rich recommended Starman and told me that if I bought the first collection and didn't like it, he would buy it from me. So I bought the book and didn't look back. Jack Knight was created by James Robinson and Tony Harris. Robinson wrote the entire series, and Harris provides a majority of the pencils, with Wade von Grawbadger inking for the first half, with Peter Snejbjerg taking over after Harris leaves. A lot of great artists contribute to this series, including Matt Smith, Teddy Christensen, Gene Ha, Steve Yall, Michael Zoli, among others. Jack Knight was a hero I really related to. His mother died when he was young, and my mother had died about 2 years before I started reading Starman. His relationship with his father was strained at best, which is an accurate description of my relationship with my dad at that point. He loved Art Deco, which I did as well. In fact, I liked Art Deco so much, it's what inspired me to go into graphic design. In many ways, Jack was the most relatable character I'd ever read. Robinson's writing was sharp, and Harris and von Grawbadger's art was revelatory. Many pages had a late-era nouveau flourish to them, and his drawings of Opal City, which is an important character in the story, was just gorgeous. Just a collection of incredible Art Deco buildings. After the first story arc, Sins of the Father, ends, there's a Times Past tale, which tells of the Shade, this arguably the second most important character in Starman, meeting with Oscar Wilde. Featuring amazing art by Teddy Christensen, I was officially hooked. Times Past tales are standalone stories that flesh out the world of Starman and the Shade. They sometimes give you hints of what's coming up. Here's one with incredible art by Matt Smith. It's about the Golden Age Justice Society. It's got one of my favorite quotes in it. That the Grail is only accessible by crossing a large bridge, and our man says, and bridges can be held. I love that. It's such a great moment. So the Times Past tales would happen in between the major story arcs and kind of give you information on upcoming stuff or information about like things that influence the previous story, and kind of really builds a history of this corner of the DC universe. There's so much about Starman that is weird and wonderful, and in many ways feels perfectly suited to my tastes. At its core, Starman is a coming-of-age story. Jack starts out as a typical 90s 20-something dude who has some slight misogyny kind of attitudes. But by the end of the book, he's a genuinely good person, and he's done a lot of good things along the way. He's built a found family that is special, and he comes to understand and respect his father and his father's legacy. He has to make some hard choices throughout the book, but they all feel perfect for the character. The story does lose some steam when Jack goes to space, but it's still pretty good, and the ending of the series is phenomenal. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm leaving the story overview here. But if you like comics, you should read Starman. Full stop. I love that DC allowed Starman to run for 80 issues, plus a few tie-ins, specials, and miniseries. If it went on forever, it would not feel nearly as special. Interestingly, the series has ties to both the main 90s DC universe and Vertigo, mostly due to the Sand and Stars storyline, which has Jack teaming up with Wesley Dodds, the Golden Age Sandman. But the Sandman that they used is more of the Vertigo take on Wesley Dodds rather than the Golden Age. It also has ties to Hellboy, thanks to a crossover that stars Batman, Hellboy, and Starman. Starman is available in 2 compendiums of about 1,400 pages each. I saw in in-stock trades yesterday, which would be July 13th, 2025, that this first volume's on sale 50% off, so that's $30. If you're interested in giving this a shot, that would be an incredible value. The compendiums are the way to read it. They're well made and they include everything. So they include all of your crossover issues. They include the Batman, Hellboy, Starman limited series. It includes all of the one-shots that tie into Starman. So this is like literally all of Starman in book form. The only complaint I have about these, and this is with every collected edition of Starman, is that the Shades Journals pages are just added to the back like back matter. The Shades Journals were pages that would appear in single issues. Every couple of issues you'd get a Shades Journal page, and it would give you sort of some background on the shade, but they often tied into or gave you hints on what was coming up in the book. My friends and I would read those multiple times and talk with each other, trying to figure out like, oh, what do you think this means? Where's the book going? But when you just throw them all in the back of the book, while it's nice that they're collected, they kind of lose the spirit that they were written in, which is kind of sad. A few years ago, DC did release some omnibus editions, but these are not like an omnibus like you would think. The series was collected over 5 or 6 volumes. They're hardcover, which unfortunately have glued binding, and they're like a standard-sized hardcover. I would not recommend hunting these down because they are out of print. Most of them are expensive, and honestly, they're not built that well. I would definitely go with the compendiums. That's, I think, the way to read Starman. But definitely read Starman. I think it's worth everyone's time. Thanks for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and share with a friend.